You know what's funny? Wario. Like in concept, yeah, but like think about Wario. He's an unscrupulous, greedy, gluttonous, anti-hygienic, selfish, brutish garbage man, and I don't know a single person who dislikes Wario, despite his downright express design to be unlikable. And no exception to that rule is yours truly. I couldn't imagine a gaming landscape sans Wario, and I wouldn't have him any other way, and I feel my favorite point of view of Wario stems from his first appearance, not even his first game, Super Mario Land 2, but the commercial for that first game.
Obey me, Wario. I am your master. Mario is your enemy.
Everything here is great and quickly gives the premise of Wario's character. He's anti-Mario and wants your attention and obedience, but more specifically, he's not just being a villain, he's selling you something. He's being a capitalist, and that's what I think is the most brilliant meta detail about Wario. Wario obviously exaggerates Mario's key traits. Mario is charmingly chubby, Wario eats his motorcycle. Mario has been known to collect a coin here and there, Wario will aggressively shake riches out of an adversary. Mario is an IP with lots of charm and pedigree with which he sells gangbusters of games and merchandise. Wario's first defining action is trying to hypnotize you into the same effect. Wario isn't just a bad Mario, he's a bad Mario, like incompetent at what Mario is, which is being a lovable mascot. You could argue he envies Mario's prowess in adventure in his castle, but I think he mirrors Mario, hoping to emulate his rival's success. While Waluigi is stated to have a more distinctly melancholy motivation, hoping to be loved like Luigi, I don't think there's a lick of emotional desire on part of Wario. He just wants to be like Mario because Mario scored big and he wants the same. Just behold when he's given the opportunity to save the girl like Mario has time and time again, and he just yeets her. He's got treasure to collect. Time is money. Wario isn't just a mean Mario doppelganger. He fails miserably at everything Mario excels at, which almost feels like a neg at any other mascot who wants to imitate Mario. Wario fails upward and stands as one of Nintendo's most recognizable characters by being bad at his adventure occupation. This premise permeates into Wario's own spin-off series, WarioWare, where he literally joins the video game business trying to make it big. The thing is, Wario is so lazy that rather than make one substantial game, he packages together what he calls micro games that last a few seconds at a time, which is not only such a portentous premise of all of Wario's defining characteristics, but the brilliant mock-up for what would result in one of Nintendo's most distinct IPs. I know the fast-paced, addicting format of WarioWare has kept me entertained over many car rides. I also love the irony of Wario being surrounded by a supporting cast that's just as zany, if not more so, than Mario's. But rather than create adventures featuring the lot of them, he makes them create mindless micro-games for him. Wario even has a peer who seems to have affectionate feelings toward him in the form of Mona. But Wario's too pig-headed to see anything past his next big paycheck. I think it speaks to the imagination of Wario's supporting cast. I think every one of these goofballs could be the star of their own game, and one that would sell millions. It's just too bad Wario will never see that. That said, I think it's a bit of a shame that WarioWare has so thoroughly overshadowed Wario's first starring series, Wario Land. Taking custody of Mario's handheld adventures after his villainous role in Mario Land 2 was so popular, Wario's platforming endeavors feel very Monkey's Paw-esque because Wario, at last, can go on a starring adventure like Mario, but his surroundings are, Wario probably waltzed into the matter thinking it'd be easy, but while Mario can throw fire and leap multiple arcs with no effort, Wario has to physically mutilate himself to pull off special moves. A real pro like Mario can make it look easy, which is why I love that not only do all the oddities of how Wario works differently not only make Wario Land so much more than a reskin of any given Mario adventure, but illustrate how in over his head he is. He's malleable like a Looney Tune and can use any number of weird statuses to his advantage. Rather than just elegantly hopping on foes, Wario loves to get his hands dirty too, letting his fists solve his problems or just straight up using pro wrestling. He's seen Mario stomp out enough bosses that he decided he can lay out with a pile driver if it means leaving a bigger impression. You can see Wario's inclination to power through sheer dumb luck in Mario sports stuff too. While Mario is just naturally very coordinated and sometimes uses elemental power for some flair, Wario has to rely on gadgets and the sheer misfortune of lightning striking him for a souped-up power shot. Wario's gizmos are always a delight. Why train for the Olympics when you can jetpack your way to the finish? Probably where Wario's vast fortune goes when not funding muscle cars and motorcycles. Despite his shameless overall style, Wario loves to flaunt his exuberant wealth and fashion sense through top-of-the-line paraphernalia. He may be a gross creep, but he's gonna look good doing it, including absolutely slaying on the golf course. I also love that parallel to Mario's love of eating mushrooms, Wario eats garlic, and eating mushrooms from the earth would probably make you pretty smelly, but Mario's law makes it charming. Meanwhile, garlic fuels Wario's deadliest weapon. Like he saw Mario bite into raw fungi and get superpowers, and he said, yeah, I can do that too. Wario is such a strange character because of how widely accepted he is, despite just how eccentric he is, especially as a mascot for Nintendo's family-friendly image. Personality is so infectious that a lot of WarioWare and Wario Land manuals take the format of his diary, just for the opportunity to write in his voice. Look at this bit from the Wario World booklet, where someone put his medical information for some reason. Wario's eyesight is 20/70, his bladder holds a little over a gallon of liquid, and he's never had a cavity. I can't imagine you asked, but someone felt the need to rectify this biographical information because Wario is just so freeing to make lore for. He even comes off as a pretty cathartic marketing tool. Look at the opening scene for WarioWare Touched, a launch title for the Nintendo DS, which was a pretty strange console at the time. Wario brutishly struggles to wrap his head around the innovative two-screen technology and stylus. He eventually comes around to it. Nintendo opened the first game many would play with for the DS with a feature that basically said, hey, the DS is different, but even a total Neanderthal like Wario can get used to it and love it. I can't think of any other game company that sells things, and successfully, utilizing how stupid and stubborn one of their mascots is. Though I think a lot of Wario's charm is owed to his voice actor, Charles Martinet, also the voice of Mario, Luigi, and Waluigi. He lends his talents to Wario so naturally, I wonder if long before his involvement with Nintendo, he had some kind of experience playing a greedy miser using tactics that could be drawn to Wario.
Ratchet, what do you mean by looking at the clock?
What really draws me to Wario is that despite being created to be the antithesis of the most notable mascot of any video game, that didn't stop him from having enough momentum to be a mascot that could give Mario a run for his money. He isn't without attitude similar to the likes of the cocky Sonic and zany Crash, blended with Mario's round, appealing aesthetic and given a grotesque flavor all his own. I think there's a reason so many Mario materials and games shift perspective to Wario so consistently, and that's because he makes such a good protagonist in opposition to Mario, as opposed to the vice versa. There's something so honest about Wario, his alertness, his posturing, his cunning. He represents a dark side to all of us, and I think the fact that he's the worst thing we all have in common speaks to his own juxtaposing reverence as a character. This got kinda heavy. Fart joke!